And a pleasant good evening to you and yours, and welcome to the Brevard Sports Network. And I want to thank all of you for your patience and indulge me. Um, it's been a wild ride the past couple of weeks at Brevard Sports Network, and one we're extremely grateful for. And we want to thank all of you out there for following along through the state football playoffs, and as we get into basketball and finishing up next week, we're going to do the volleyball awards. And so, thank you for allowing us this time, this evening, to announce one of my favorite awards, the Brevard Sports Network Gerald Odom Coach of the Year Award. And this is an award that we began giving out back in 2019. It was one of the first awards we've ever given out. Our first winner was Chris Sands in 2019. In 2020, that winner, um, who who was it in 2020? I'm forgetting already. Hold on, I'll remember here. Hang on. 2020 was Derek Smith of Vieira. That's why, because he's in Georgia now. And then it was Hurley Brown in 2021. And last year, our reigning Brevard Sports Network Gerald Odom Coach of the Year, John Holmes of the Titusville Terriers. And I want to apologize again to Coach Holmes and his North squad because I screwed the time up tonight. I had the South squad practicing at 6 or at 6:30 and the North squad practicing at 6. We got it mixed up. We'll get them taken care of Thursday night. Speaking of Thursday night, right here on BSN, you're going to see the 2023 Brevard County North-South Senior All-Star Game brought to you by BSN Sports. And we'll re-release the rosters again tomorrow here on BSN and get you caught up with everything that's going on there. We're going to have a lot of great stuff for you planned on Thursday night. Myself, Caleb, Chase, Jackson, Adam Franco will be joining me on that broadcast and that play-by-play. We're all going to be down there. We're going to have the sideline cameras again, and we're just going to have a lot of fun with this. And we want to thank Coach Blue, Rob Query. He's done a hell of a job the last 2 years putting this event together, him and BSN Sports, the apparel and equipment company. But tonight, the issue at hand is we want to thank Orange Pest Control as well. I know a lot of you are like, just get to it already, would you, Alan? But we want to thank Orange Pest Control as they are the sponsors of this award tonight. Now, our candidates. Let's take a look at our candidates one more time. Obviously, our reigning candidate, John Holmes. What a heck of a year John and the Terriers had. They did even better this year than they did last year. Finished 10-2 this year. Went a step further in the playoffs. Beat Palm Bay in round one this year to advance to round two. Didn't get past South Sumter, but don't worry, they will in the years to come. And won their first playoff game since 1988, a span of 35 years. Coach Holmes is now 17-6 in his past two seasons at Titusville after taking over a program that didn't win more than two games in a single season in the previous 5 seasons before he arrived. Chris Sands, the O'Galley Commodores, he won this award back in 2019. Arguably the youngest roster in the county. They go 10-2. They captured the program's first ever district championship by beating the Rockledge Raiders in comeback fashion. In fact, it was their first win over Rockledge since 2008. Sands completes his 6th season at O'Galley, where he's now 43-21, and he's taken that program to the playoffs in 5 of the 6 seasons that he has been there. Ryan Schneider from the Cocoa Tigers, amazingly a head coach that has taken his team to the state championship in 4 of 6 seasons, has not yet won this award. But what a season Coach Schneider had. And when you stop and think about the schedule that they played to get where they went, 130-54, that's an astounding 704 strength of schedule they played against this year. All they did was go 14-1. They were the number 1 team in the state, the number 4 ranked team by Max Preps, and they were the number 18 team in the country. And oh, by the way, captured their second straight 2S state championship. Let's give it up for Matt Handwork from Merritt Island Christian. And Coach Handwork had a lot of support on the feed today for the job that he did this season at Merritt Island Christian in his third season there. The 8-man variety of football, but it is football, and it is outstanding football they play at Merritt Island Christian. A little bit of adversity Coach Handwork had to get his team past this season as they would go through injuries. They would lose 3 of their final 4. They would get about 10 days off by the start of the playoffs. Coach Handwork and his troops righted the ship, and they would go on to win the 3A Sunshine State Athletic Association State Championship. Congratulations to Coach Matt Handwork. And our final nominee, Coach Michael Benson. Coach Benson, his first year as a head coach. And listen, as a first-year head coach taking over a team filled with 28 seniors, 16 transfers, it's not easy. It's not easy at all. He made so many right moves. For example, keeping and having Coach Ainsley back as his defensive coordinator. What a great move that was. That defense would go on to tie a program record this season with 6 shutouts. They were 6-0 against Brevard County teams and outscored them 231-16. That offense, which Coach Benson and Coach Mays ran 34 points per game. An outstanding year for the Heritage Panthers and Coach Michael Benson. And I read all of your comments, and we discussed this at length, but it was unanimous this year. And I think John Holmes said it best. Our reigning coach, our reigning Gerald Odom Coach of the Year. If he had a vote to cast, he too would have cast it for our 2023. And this should not come as a surprise, quite honestly, to anyone. Our Coach of the Year, the Gerald Odom Coach of the Year, the head coach of the Cocoa Tigers, Ryan Schneider. And congratulations to Coach Schneider. You're going to hear from Coach Ryan Schneider tomorrow at noon here on Brevard Sports Network. And you're also going to hear from, and we want to congratulate the defensive coordinator, assistant coach Matt Diesel, as well, as he was our coordinator and assistant coach of the year. But, you know, listen, when you stop and think about the accomplishments of this Cocoa Tiger football team this year and what they did, I really, truly, honestly believe that it's going to take some time in this county for people to take a step back and realize what this team did this year and how they did it. I get it. You know, a lot of people would say, you know, oh, well, a lot of the media in the town or Cocoa. No, this has nothing at all, nothing to do with this at all. This football team is arguably one of the best to ever play in this county. I know about the great Merritt Island teams of the early 70s. What about those great Rockledge teams of the early 2000s? Palm Bay, a nationally ranked football team as well. And then you get into those great Cocoa teams of 08, 09, and 10. I understand that. This was a football team this year. Defensively was lights out. Dark side as dark side gets. Set a program record this year with 60 sacks. This was a perfectly balanced, well-oiled machine. When things weren't gone right with this team, one unit would pick up the other unit. When the snap and the hold wasn't working well in the playoffs, it didn't matter. The offense still continued to put. When the offense wasn't going great in the state championship game, it was Gunnar Trout knocking through field goals and extra points. The defense was the one constant for this football team all season long. And when you go through the FHSAA playoffs, and I don't care whether it's 1S, 2S, 3S, 4S, 1M, 2M, 3M, 4, I don't care. And you allow just 5.8 points per game, and your offense is running, clocking teams and stopping teams that are, and you're putting up 300 yards and stopping teams that are averaging 300 yards. Man, you are the head coach of an outstanding legacy-type football team, and that's what the Cocoa Tigers were this year. Somebody put up a comment that said it wouldn't surprise them if the Cocoa Tigers swept many of these awards, not just ours, Florida Today's, Space Coast Dailies, you name it. would it really truly surprise anybody? I mean, you look at that roster this season. Who better than Javen Boggs had a better year? Boggs, one of the best wide receivers I've ever seen play the game in this county, especially after catching the football. You look at that defensive side of the ball. Samadre Hawkins, 150 tackles, 25 tackles for loss. The unit had 60 sacks. Hilson, 14 sacks this year. Committed to Alabama. I mean, it's incredible what they did. I'll sing their praises all day long because this is a team that truly, truly deserves it. And Coach Ryan Schneider and his amazing staff. And I want to make sure that I mention his staff because I know when he gets on tomorrow and he speaks to us, he's going to want to make sure that entire coaching staff got their credit because they deserve it. And when you look at this football team, obviously it starts at the top with Coach Schneider. You go to Adam Franco, Andre McDonald. How about Caleb Dobbs this year? Dobbs graduated last year, came back this year, coached the DBs. Coach Stockton, the quiet type, but man, does he do wonders with that defensive line. Colton Adam, Brayboy. What a great job Brayboy did this year. Craig Spencer, a staple of this program. The mayor, Dan Diesel. Michael McKinney, Ray Kamika, Rod Washington, Sean Gaudia. The trainers, everybody on this staff. And how could you forget the heart and soul of the program and James Folston and Coach Bud? So congratulations, Cocoa Tigers. Congratulations, Ryan Schneider, on a fantastic, unforgettable season. It really was. I mean, when you look at the combined record of the opponents that they played this year, it's remarkable what they did. They got robbed at St. Thomas. Absolutely got robbed. And I think to all of us out there, if the vote weren't cast for Ryan Schneider, we took a lot of criticism last year and giving it to John Holmes because a state championship coach didn't win it. But you know what Ryan Schneider said? He said that man deserved that award last year. And he did. Coach Holmes did a remarkable job, and he did a remarkable job again this year. But as Coach Holmes said, nobody but Ryan Schneider should win that award this year, and he does. And we'll talk to him tomorrow, and you'll see it coming up at noon right here on Brevard Sports Network. So once again, congratulations to all of the nominees tonight, and we'll continue over the next 10 days handing out our awards. The next award that we will hand out will be our Randy Halleck Special Team Player of the Year award, and that'll be coming up on Thursday, the day of the Brevard County High School Football Senior All-Star Game, which is Thursday night at Tom McIntyre Stadium. And I want to end with this here tonight. The FHSAA today in a board meeting. Let me just take a minute to try and clear this up a little bit for those of you watching. Today they voted 9-4 to kill the metro and suburb, so there will be no more metro and suburb. It will go back to 7 classifications with a rural classification as well. The rural classification will be schools with 600 or less enrollment. The classifications 1 through 7 will all be based on school enrollment size. What did they accomplish? They didn't do anything but turn back the clock today. I'm sorry, but that's what they did. They voted to keep district play, mandatory district scheduling in place, and they tabled the new playoff system of the Open 8, which would include all sports. They tabled that. If you're unfamiliar with the Open 8, at the end of the season, they would take the classifications, they would take the rankings, Max Prep's rankings, and the top 8 teams in the state of Florida in a particular sport would all go to an open division and compete for one state championship, and then the rest of the teams would all compete for their respective state championships. If we had the open division this year in football, say, Coco would have jumped in an open division, and I believe they would have played Mandarin in the first round and quite possibly Chaminade Madonna in the second round. And that state championship game would have been between Bradford and South Sumter. Confused? Don't worry. a lot of people are. But we'll get it cleared up for you here in the next couple of days. So I want to thank Caleb Brown. And again, congratulations to Coach Ryan Schneider. He is our 2023 Brevard Sports Network Brevard County Gerald Odom Coach of the Year, and we want to thank Orange Pest Control for sponsoring it. Have a great night, everybody, and we'll see you tomorrow. MCC basketball tomorrow. We'll also have the South All-Star. We'll have the South All-Star Media Night and Vieira and Melbourne Soccer right here on the network. Take care, everyone.